Most sportswear brands fail even if they have the perfect design. You spent the last couple months coming and putting together the perfect idea, and you've created a design that really solves something unique, but you've launched the brand and sales are not coming in. So in today's episode, we're going to be looking at why just having a great looking design that is beautiful and different and unique isn't enough on its own merit to help you stand out, and what you can do as a sportswear brand owner today to actually make your love for design in the niche that you're in something that is a strength, not something that is a potential weakness for your brand. Number one is that we have to understand that good design doesn't necessarily guarantee success, because design for design's sake is divorced from whether or not a user is going to be using that product. When you work backwards from this, when you look at the user's needs and their tangible issues, that's where you create magic. Designing a hoodie that has so many convertible pockets, so many zippers, although in theory, you might assume that that's how the product could function and I want my user to use it like that. Unfortunately, users don't bend to our will. They don't conform to the products must conform to them. Design for your end user in mind, and don't design just to create something different and unique. You're gonna end up costing your product more. You're gonna end up putting time and effort into something that ultimately doesn't bear fruit. Number two is that market size matters way more than design flair or just niching down for niche's sake. If you go too wide, then as a startup brand, it's going to be very difficult for you to compete with some of the big players out there, the Nikes, the Gymsharks. So what you should do is you should find an area in the industry that you can play to your strengths and your advantages. That's what you should do. You put a cap on your product range and a cap on your business growth that really makes it difficult. So it's very important that the market that you pick has a market size that is actually worth going after. Although you can get very hyper focused, the number of customers that you can sell to make it so difficult to actually scale a brand beyond that level. So my recommendation would be pick a niche that has the potential to grow into a larger niche, but a niche that is focused enough for you to play to your strengths and then to transition into something a little bit more wide. Number three is that the product that you pick has to be profitable, not just cool. When you look at the industry and you consider the highest grossing fashion brands, the brands that are able to sell predominantly at full price with great profit margins, they're going after a product range that is too expensive to make and to create at scale and to compete with and to market for. And at the same time, they're not able to sell it at the price that they need to sell it at because the product itself and the market that they're targeting doesn't justify it. So you really need to focus on creating a product that is profitable, that has great profit margins that you can use to scale. So the main questions you want to ask yourself are, how much does it cost to create a sample of this new product? Maybe you're developing a product that requires tremendous amount of research and development, and you're underestimating what it's going to cost to bring that product to market. What is it going to cost to produce in bulk at different scales and different levels of quantities? And if your product and your brand cannot take on the cost of these increased pieces because your market is not willing to pay, then no matter how much R&D you put into the product, if customers aren't going to be willing to buy the product at a way that makes it profitable for you, you're going to find yourself just spinning your wheels. You need to have at least 30 to 40% net profit in order to properly drive a business. Number four is that you are building the product for yourself and not for your customer. I'm not saying that you don't use your personal input into creating the product, because at some point, your personal experience can be a source of strength. When Chip Wilson was designing Lululemon's leggings, he asked yoga instructors, he asked people that were in the community what they wanted out of a product. Also, does your price make sense for them? Does the design you're creating solve a problem, or does it just look pretty? Does it make it a commercial product? But it's so important to be heavily focused on how your product can actually solve problems. If you believe for yourself, I love this product so others will too, you're falling into the biggest trap that founders fall into. Yes, you need to focus your data set, but make sure that it's not just your internal biased data set. Number five, and ultimately, is how do we as entrepreneurs pick products that have high likelihoods of success right off the bat? Number one is you want to start with something that has clear and proven demand. Two, make sure that you can actually manufacture that product affordably at scale. Number three, you want to avoid overly complex and risky construction and features that can actually cause your product to fail in execution. Next up, you want to stick to 1 or 2 proven colorways as a starting point that you know are going to drive sales. All year round colors that customers can rely on and can grab in their closet time and time again. Lastly, you need to know your break-even point and where you turn a profit and what margin levels you want to hit. My best recommendation would be open up a Google sheet, put in all of your indirect and direct costs on a specific product that allows you to set specific margin goals. What is the retail price and what is the cost price that I have to target in order to get to my break-even point and in order to get to my desired net profit margin goals. So to recap, guys, if your first collection is relying on a roll of the dice design that you think just looks beautiful without doing the proper market research to make sure that this is a product in demand that has proven demand that can actually satisfy a niche and is part and satisfying a niche that is large enough for it to make financial sense, then you're putting your brand under potential risk. You want to approach your market with clarity and you want to have longevity in mind. If you guys want help picking the perfect product set for your first collection, or maybe you're a brand that is looking to scale to the next level and you want to pick some new best winning products, or you want to see what products in my current range can I improve to make them more applicable, to make them more marketable, to make them more successful, you can check the link in the description. I offer one-on-one consultation calls every single week and my slots are limited, but you can apply to work with me one-on-one. Guys, I say this from the very bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Fit Design TV. Until next week's episode, stay awesome.